You guys are watching? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 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 That's all you can do, man. Just laugh, you know. When I came to America, man, I knew something is weird about... Okay, today is November 5th, 2018. Yeah, you guys really need to see that, okay? Yes. It helps your brain to be deprogrammed. Get used to it. Life is not all about pretty stuff. Pretty stuff mean one thing. Somebody's hiding something from you. That's what it means, chicas. Especialmente. Okay, moving on. Yeah, you know, I want to talk about two things in this right now. Hold on, let me go somewhere that I don't look like an idiot talking, trying to make a recording, at least trying to be half decent, basically. One moment, please. Oh my god, people are creepy, man. Like, I'm sorry, did I say this? No, you know, believe it or not, this is really creepy, man. Like, obviously, the person who does it, maybe they're not capturing it very likely. That's why they do it. But you know, when you stare at someone, when you make an eye contact with somebody, it's very, yeah, it's very creepy when you make an eye contact with somebody, you know what I'm saying? You don't make some kind of a connection or some kind of a gesture, like anything, like could be just what you call smiling, you know, waving your hand, literally say a word, even a cuss word, it would be fine. Just make something. It could be anything. I mean anything, but something. Raise your finger hanger, excuse me, middle finger, your finger hanger. Hold on. Yeah. Yes, here I think is better. Oh my god, my face looks bright too. So, you know, there are two things basically, how do you say that, I want to talk about. One thing is that in this country, America, people, basically, pretty much, when you fall into that category, you will see in different venues the same kind of mistreatment from people and the government, that is basically the citizens and the system, just like you would see it perhaps in a third world country. And how do I know? Because I've traveled I have lived in Iran, which does very well fits the very dictatorship concept very explicitly. Like they don't try to they don't hide that thing from you. You know, they're very clear and explicit and conspicuous. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. And I've had this happening to me. Nothing pretty to talk about. Definitely something terrifying to talk about. And I've had this thing happen to me so many times. And I think you can notice the seriousness of this. And yes, the word serious is coming from me. I never use the word serious, really, because I think things really get serious for you if you really consider them serious. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? Kind of like, you know what they say, the more you give something a thought, it will actually become a stronger thing for you. You know, you just have to, that's the thing. You just have to let it go and just turn a blind eye. At least try doing that, because even if you try, it will work. The problem is that some people like me, they're very analytical, and they just, it's just that as much as they even try, things, their brain, their start just keep, you know, diverting back to that matter and things, and they just, for a variety of reasons, they're just keep, you know, reanalyzing things, and things become difficult. That's why I have to, at least one thing, I have to be unserious about it. And today, as shitty as it is, I have to pull this subject out and start talking about it. And I hate to think of myself and some of those people on YouTube where it seems like they always have some crazy story to talk about. You know what I mean? But guess what? You don't know what crazy really means. No, really, you don't know what crazy means. Those things, actually, they don't stand really to life with some people. How do you say that? But this thing that I'm gonna tell you sort of fits in the definition of the crazy. Today, I had this thing happen to me, and it's funny because I always try to stay away from that kind of a thing because I know how it affects me and how it bothers me. So I'm saying, when I think about it, I see why I try to procrastinate it and put this kind of stuff off, excuse me. And how do you say that? So I had this thing happen to me where basically, like, you know,
yo, why are you kicking, bro? I didn't.
Where basically, somebody, I borrowed this money from this company for, you know, the payday loan for like $900 or $950. I'm not sure exactly, either $900 or $950 I borrowed from this company called CashNet USA. You might see their ad on TV. I've seen it. I don't watch TV very often unless I go somewhere, some store, and they're just running the TV, and that's how I get to see it. And I remember one time specifically, I do remember, I think I was actually in Burger King, and I saw the ad of this company, CashNet USA, on the TV, and that's how I saw them actually being out about. But I really got the mail from them making an offer, and I was stupid enough to sign for this payday loan. It was the first one, and trust me, it would be the last payday loan that I would ever I would get. No, I've said a lot of things that I've never done in my life, but this one thing I will promise you, this will never happen again. Especially from this, well, you know how it is, you know, it just turns out to be your worst experience for you. You know, things that you always think, what could go wrong, literally, like, you know. And I think part of it is just a lot of us like to be positive, you know, and that means that we turn a blind eyes on a lot of things that could possibly happen to us. And I think it's partially is the psychological effect of it, because you know what, as much as you know yourself and you know how things can be, things are, you basically, to you specifically, are very bothersome. But because you at the end of the day, you also have to function in a society and do the things that other people do too. That's the mechanism that our brains start to establish to try to get around and approach things. You just have to look like, oh, you know, I can tell, you know, it's not the best decision I'm making, but, you know, what could go wrong, you know? And really, we're just trying to be, excuse me, stupid about it. You know, that's the thing about it. So, yeah. Oh God, tonight is not my night. Seriously, I mean it. Like today, you know, some of days you just like, you know, you have shitty stuff happening to you throughout days, but sometimes it's just so shitty. You're just like, yeah, this is not my day. Like, it's just not. It's the day you meant to suffer, basically, one way or another. Yeah. Okay, so today, I called this company. This is the second call I'm making to this company. Basically, somebody called from this number, and I'm going to say the number, because I need to tell people about this. And I don't want to be a pussy. It's 404 364. Let me see if I can remember. $6402. Yep, nailed it. And I don't have to look back. I just know because I know exactly what that number was. 404 362. Excuse me. 404 334 6402. Ta-da! Ta-da! So, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I hate to do this to you guys, but forgive me 1 second. Literally, I mean it so bad. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys. Sorry. Hey man, you have to fake yourself to be happy, to try to, part of the psychological shit you have to do to try to get yourself by, you know. How fucked up is that? Man, this hurts, man. Like, I know when I finish telling you this, I'm gonna feel so shitty and terrible because, you know, when you talk about something, it kind of makes you feel better. And it kind of makes you feel just as shitty as it just, you know, you're just going through the same, whatever. Yeah. So, no, this one time I called them. Basically, I want you to understand the background. So, I don't know, was it for $900 or $950? I remember the $900 part, but I'm not sure if I borrowed $900 or $950. I don't remember that. Here's what I do remember. Over the length of the few months that initially I borrowed this, I paid $450 on the principal of this payday loan. So let's say it was just $950. So I paid $450, and so really the balance was for $500. At the time, I called the company a few times. I told them, listen, and this thing is keep accruing interest, because you know how the payday loans does a 300% interest. And guess what? They also had this flat $15 per $100 that you borrow on top of it, which, you know how it is. Yeah, if anybody has done payday loan, I think they can feel what I'm saying, you know. You think, you know what, I'm just gonna borrow this money, I will pay it right away in a fucking month or two, and how much could I end up paying extra, right? You know, okay, so $950, $900, whatever I borrowed, you know, in a month you give it 300 interest. Basically, you're looking at divided by 12. You're looking at like about a nice 26% interest, right? Let's see, 26. Yeah. Oh, this motherfucker got a brain. Son of a Gutenberg. Yes, it was exactly 300% interest annual APR on it. And you would think, yeah, so I'm gonna pay this back at least max, because it's a heck of a money. I just don't want to get myself in trouble. But cool, some people's life is, and you happen to go through shit, and you can't pay the thing back. And so at some point they're asking me for about a nice $1,500 on a leftover principal of $500. I'm like, dude, listen. Now listen, I mean, well, part of it, yeah, that kind of attitude, but really what I'm telling them is that, listen, I really don't, you know, I can pay you $700 and we can just call it off. You know, do you guys want to take it or not? And I called this company twice, and it's like the people who, yeah, this is a serious thing, man. The people who work in this kind of a business of debt collecting, or the debt collecting or financial things they have a pretty name for it, really, but it's an ugliest thing. Like, I don't know if you ever ran into that situation, but the people who work in these kind of companies, as shitty as it is, like, they're total evil, man. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, and I just had this experience that I'm still can't believe this actually happened. Like, literally, I can't believe. And I think part of it is, like, the nicer you are to people, they feel more comfortable actually treating you like shit. And I mean literally like shit. Like, I just can't believe this happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. And that's what I'm saying. It's a pretty bad thing. So brace yourself, because you might see me go nuts after I actually finish up telling you about this whole thing. You ready, boy and bitches? Okay. So you think 26%. Alright. Obviously that didn't happen. 26% interest. How much would that be on a $1,000 loan? That's like... That's like $260, right? Hold on. Am I right about this? Hold on. Hold on. Does it make sense? 26%. Yeah, so for every $100, that means $26. Wow, that's still a lot of money. Wow. Okay, so if I had paid in the first month, I would be still paying almost about an extra $240 some dollars on top of that. $200 almost, still say. That's crazy, right? That's insane. I mean, how do they get to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, speaking of the extreme clause, you know, I mean, I guess some people, they might just argue telling you that, okay, the whole idea that they put such a high interest is to get you really just pay it, whatever the amount is, you know, at least, say, maximum in 2 weeks, that if you're getting from the day that they issue the loan, let's say if that's really the next day of your previous, you know, payday loan, and you get paid maybe even bi-weekly, so really looking at fucking max about 2 weeks or 10 days, you know, max really 10 days. So you're looking at 10 days, 26 divided by 12, the daily rate would be about 2.2%, right? So you're looking at daily 10 days, that would be 260. 10 days would be hold up, I have to divide the 26 by 30, man. Let's do. So that's almost about 0.7%, right? 240, 7650. 76 is 32. 7632, right? Am I right? 77 is 49. 76 would be 42, right? Yeah. 76 is 42. Okay. So 76 is 42, and 240. Yeah, almost like 2.7. You're right. Yeah, I just want to try to at least sound accurate a little bit. So don't say the whole thing was fucking bullshit, alright? Part of this video was actually calculated and based on some accurate information. So don't try to, yeah, if you want to make a comment, shitty comment about this, think twice. Niggas. Alright. Going back to the stories. 2 years later. So, how the F you say this shit? Excuse me, 1.7, right? Did I say right? No, 0.7%, excuse me, 7%. So 7 day would be 7%, 7%, yeah. So 7% would be about $70. Oh, but anyways, obviously I didn't fall anywhere close to that, and this thing carried on for, it's been like a nice over a year now. Anyways, at some point after I reached out to the company, so they the twice that I called and I made the attempt, I didn't hear nothing. They said no, that's not enough. Okay, so finally, it sent me some email, which I didn't pay attention because at the time I just couldn't look, go through all that shit. But I saw it literally said you have till like 12 o'clock today to pay this much, which was close to that 700 amount that I initially called them, and I was willing to pay it. I think it was like 750, or maybe it was actually 700, I think, because I was like, wow, that's a great deal. I'm happy that I could do it, but I looked at it and said only till today, till 12 o'clock, and after today, your loan would be passed on to another company that obviously would charge an extra fees and all that shit. And I don't remember that exact date. Anyways, a few days ago, I called this, I said about 5 days ago, I think it was, or 6 days ago, excuse me. It was last Wednesday, I believe, and today's Tuesday, so about 6 days, yeah, 6 days ago, I called this bitch, and the bitch is not a good word for her. She needs to go to jail, really. Like, she needs to be punished like that, like, really. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. These are the exact words that came out of her mouth. I don't have the conversation recorded, if that's what you want to talk shit about, but I don't have that, because I just didn't think it's gonna be. I mean, I've had bad experiences with the debt collectors where they talk shit to me, but I thought the fact that like now I'm 34, I'm a little older, and how to say that, you just have your own self-impression and perception. You think that people capture that and they would treat you much better. You just never think that would happen. It's like this woman, yeah, I mean, she was nuts. She was not nuts. She thought that, or basically I think the company that hires these people, they told her, you know what, you can say what you want to say. You can go as far as even making false threats about them being arrested, going to jail, stuff like that. Try to talk shit to them, berate them, degrade them, whatever. If you can't get us the money, girl, go for it. How cool is that? Getting a job to finally talk shit to people and make people feel like shit and get a decent pay for it? Hallelujah, man. No, people love this guy, man. Some people, a lot of people who in the business of the, son of a Gutenberg police or security, man, these people, like, they feel blessed. So they get to fuck with people and get paid for it. Like, their dream thing, payback thing for maybe some issues that they might have. Very well, they might have their own good, I mean, it's not a good reason, but if you hear their stories at some point, they might say, you know what, I had this shit happen to me, this shit happened to me, this shit happened to me. And somebody actually might, go like, oh my God, I mean, then again, it's not a good reason, but it doesn't make sense. You want to fuck with other people and literally fuck with them. You know what I mean? Because the more power you have, actually, you're more liable in terms of your behavior, the way you treat people. That's my thing, at least, You have more responsibility, and really, like, ethical responsibility. Not just a responsibility to... I'm sorry, I'm from a different country, so everything you guys say, I don't know what exactly you guys mean it, but my connotation is quite different. Like, when you say with great power comes a great responsibility, to me that means one thing, that is, if I have the power, I have to serve people and try to use my power to assist other people. This is the only thing I can basically infer from this saying or proverb you guys have in English. But on top of that, my thing is, really, if you have the power that is not necessarily a financial power, or but somebody is granted, you entrusted with a certain authority to have to serve people as a civil servant, you really have some ethical responsibility here. Yeah, man. And I'm sure, can you believe it? I want to tell you, this is the masterpiece here. Call us a total idiot, But as an immigrant who lives in a shitty part of the world, which, like I said, in a different ways, but more like an obvious way, people can, they don't even have to be police, they don't have to be security. It comes out and fucking pulls a knife in your face. Well, actually, excuse me. No, this happens. It could be a citizen, like an average dude or average duet, or really, no, the police are just going, dude, you better shut your ass up right now, or they're gonna, like, literally, he pulls his gun out and it's like, dude, which one do you want? You want this, or you want to shut? That's how they do business in, you know, in some countries in the world. And if you're specifically talking about Iran and my personal experience, I was 17 when I left Iran. So with reference to the law enforcement to Iran, I've heard sort of many disturbing accounts. But personally, with the exception of few couple here or there, I was never assaulted by the police, never threatened by, well, one time they threatened me to beat me up, but it was really fucking, they didn't put their hands on me. It was merely, there was no touching, they didn't even get close to me. Matter of fact, I don't know, actually they didn't threaten even to assault me, but the dude was asking like nuts. You know, he's like, dude, you talk too much, man. Can you stop talking? And he was going nuts. I was like, he said, I'm driving him is crazy. That's funny. But he was trying to, like, psychologically intimidate me. So he got up and started, you know, moving towards me and stuff like that. But he didn't say, I don't think that, I guess that doesn't make it better. But if you want to give it technicality, he didn't say he wants to assault me or that. But he was acting like trying to do what he can in a indirect way to get me to shut up, basically. And I told him that's not gonna happen. You did shit to me and I'm not gonna shut my mouth. You know, that's how this thing is going right now, because they did shit to me, and I'm not gonna go into details of that. Another time, some dude really was very, he was just felt very liberal, coming to my face and talking shit to me and so forth. I had these two incidents, I think the best I can recall, specifically to the police I'm talking about, in Iran, and a few trips that I made back to Iran. Oh yeah, and one time when I was 17 and I was trying to get on basically I bought a ticket so I can come to US, and basically, yeah, they yelled at me and they started acting really angry. And back then I was really good at trying to, as much as I was much younger, but I was good in trying to also fuck with them psychologically and getting them to shut up. And I mean, really, like, I got them to shut up. Really, you want to believe this or not, but I can't do it now. No, really, I can't do it because my mentality is very different from back then. Yeah, I made some improvements over years, and I made, well, let's say my skills have shifted in different ways. We have this saying in my country, we say everybody comes to America become gay in some ways. They made a movie about this. Some dude was talking to some guy and he was talking like a gay dude, and he said, dude, what the fuck is wrong? Why are you talking like gay people? Why you act like that, man? What is wrong with you, dude? You know, of course we're trying to make you feel like pussy here. Well, you don't have to act so gay. Okay, you know that, right? You know, and it's so true. No, because I act like that myself. Like, I can see it. It's crazy, man. Psychology. So, what a life you can have to live as an immigrant. You get fucked in your own country. You come to America or some place that day. Ooh, this place is phenomenal. Everybody, I'm not talking about Americans. I'm talking about my own people. Everybody says, oh,
America is heaven. That's perfect. Very rich. Everything green, beautiful, landscaping, very life.
Money perfect. You have human rights, democracy. Very good. Oh, America number one.
Yeah, it's very number one. It's too much number one in that department. And I'm talking about myself. Here's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can call us a total idiot. No, really, that's fine. This one time you're allowed. I will allow you to do this. Actually, you're not allowed to call me idiot. Don't do that. Don't call me idiot. But here's the thing. When I came to America, and I think this stands with a lot of immigrants, especially, or that's not really an immigrant thing. That is actually a mentality of Americans themselves. When you see this elaborate legal code, and the fact that you get into a lot of such as delicate and meticulous and diligent litigation for merely a traffic ticket, so forth, and you end up paying a massive fine for some kind of a stopping and stop sign and so forth. You get points, blah blah blah, and such a systematic way. So regardless of what you've heard, what you watch, what your rumors hearsay about the bad negativity of America, and even the fact that you've been a victim of it yourself, you think that, you know what, these people are heavenly. They have great ethics. If they have put together such a massive, elaborate legal code, they got to be a very nice people. They have such a great sense of emotional sense. They have a great sense of psychology. They have a great, in a positive way, not in a bad way. That is, they're using and utilizing psychology to make the life of a citizen a better place by creating such an elaborate legal system, and number two, trying to protect that rights of the people. And really, when you come down to it, more and more you see, I don't know who came up with it or how many people really got down to this kind of business, but an American, they're very cold-blooded, an average American. And instead of speaking of people who, yes, they get to enjoy being fucking cold-blooded and get paid for it. And I've seen this so many times, and aside from the bad experiences that I can talk to you, two things I can tell you. An average American, number one, they're very loud. And if you ever tell them, they'd be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, literally, like, very honestly, like, they will give you, like, a very honest face. I don't know if that really is a genuine honesty or not. I like to think it is. And they will never realize that they're so, you know, obnoxiously loud when they're talking. And they're very cold. Like, I see sometimes people honking and nobody seems to mind. And to me, that is very, very offensive. Like, you want to believe this or not, man, I drove in this country for 5 years and I did not honk my car's horn even one time. No. Because I find honking so fucking offensive. How could I honk on somebody? Unless there's a true emergency. Like, literally, I don't know what the fuck it is. I feel like you're falling down or falling asleep on the road behind the wheel, and you just keep, you know, swerving shit like that. I mean, minimum I have to do is, you know, honk or some shit to try to wake you up and get you to pull over. You know, I don't know what's going on. Excuse me. But we fall for it, and they do a great job in that department trying to. It's a very powerful psychological tool that they utilize. So moving on with this thing, yeah, man. So specific to the Iran's people, this is one thing happened. Other interaction I had, they were trying to be a jackass, but at least they tried to blend it in. You know what I mean? They try to blur it out, like blend it in, like not be too obviously a dickhead, you know, and a jackass, you know, trying to be a what do you call the mother flipper for, you know, just so obviously just want to be, you know, nasty to you and to try to make you feel like shit and dominate you, or, you know, all those girliest things that you guys know. No, that was at least part of the deal. Like, and at some points I was actually found it very interesting and amazed. Now then again, in Iran is a country where, aside from that public, basically they have created organizations that you can get beaten up, assaulted, and killed by the hands of some other people than the people on the street, basically, and nobody will ever know about you. So this is an interesting thing. This is a very cool thing. Okay, moving back to all the way to the other side of globe, America. So, alright. So a few days ago I called, I think his name is Brian, I talked to. That's regardless. He picked up the phone, he verified my information. He said, what is your social, stuff like that. He said, listen, you have a CashNet USA account you had, and the minimum I can get you to pay for it is $1,150, and you can settle it and get YY. I said, brother, this is an account. Basically said, I don't feel that is right. I have to pay anything more than $700. The whole thing was $900 or $950. I already paid $450, so conclusively that means I really owe you $500. And I'm paying an extra $200. That is almost 50% of the remaining principal of this loan. I think that is a lot of money. You know what I mean? Oh my god, I can't even tell you. Like, it feels so fucking shit. How could she do this? These are the people that cause a lot of problem. Oh my god, I just don't feel like telling you exactly what happened. Like, seriously, it's just so bad like that. Like, it just feels so unreal and so fucking over the top. Okay, I try to approach it little by little. So this so yeah, when I was talking to this dude, I said, I'm sorry, is there somebody else I can talk to them, like a supervisor, somebody that maybe they have broader decision making authority here, and maybe I will actually be able to lower this amount that you guys are asking for. Very well, I could settle it for $700. He said, yeah, sure, let me transfer you over. And he said, first he said the woman who is in charge of this matter, your file, he stepped out of office, then he get back to the phone. He said she actually gone for the day. You can call tomorrow and try to ask for her and talk to her. I didn't talk. I tried every time. By the time I got to it, it was really like past 5:30 or 5 o'clock, which you would think they would be closed. And actually, a couple of times I did call. Matter of fact, but nobody picked up. I think the rep closed very well. So finally today, I said, you know what? Alright, let's call them. Try to get this thing done, because this woman, this very woman, actually, she was the one who called me. And I was a bit concerned because they left me a message, and I read the transcript, which is a bit concerning because rather scary, to be honest with you. Yeah, you know how America is. Some scary shit, man. All of a sudden, you see somebody calling you, leaving a message, or somehow you find that somebody, issued you a bench warrant or something. Dude, what? For what reason? Anything could be possible. You don't have to necessarily think that maybe you stole something, you assaulted somebody, you killed somebody, or simple say you didn't steal, or you didn't assault, or you didn't necessarily, I don't know, going on a highway or going 70 miles on a 30-mile speed limit or something. You know what I'm saying? Something of a serious nature to might be like, oh my god, you know what? Shit, could this happen? Anything to that kind of a business that you did, So, yeah, for anything, you can literally get a bench warrant in this country, or a lot of other shit could happen to you. So I read the transcript. It was some, very what's the word for it? Scrambled transcript, which says something like, you know, is a complaint, Fairfax County Court, stuff like that. I was like, damn it! What does this come along? So I wrote a transcript. It basically said, hi, I need to talk to you or your whatever about this complaint that we're about to file for this CashNet USA. Please get back to me, or just merely get back to me. It's the phone number, blah, 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 blah. This was the original transcript. Anyway, so I called back, and this woman actually, the one she left the number, actually picked up, and how do you say that? So I said, you know, could you look up my account? You know, I want to talk to whoever is responsible for this kind of thing. And she said, well, she said she's the one who left me a message, and she's the one who's the decision maker. She's doing managing my file, basically. I said, okay, sure. So I said, Miss, you know, I had this conversation, and I swear my mother, if that makes it, you know, this is a problem. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say I'm necessarily, what do you say, that I'm trying to be a pussy boy. Like, we have lots of words in Farsi, in Persian, for this kind of a business. What I'm saying, I was not trying to, like, you know, suck on her or something, or try to, I don't know what you guys say in English, basically. You know, what I'm trying to say is to try to act like a, you know, pussy, and try to, you know, act decent in front of her, so she would actually give me a good treat or something. That's not what I was doing. It's just that, honestly, like, I'm just not able, like, you know, I talk shit sometimes, but when it comes to really action, for some weird reason, I just don't have this ability to try to actually say something that is offend somebody. Like, that is meaning just to try to say anything other than miss, you know, sir, ma'am, you know, things like that. I'm just not able to do that. Like, I just don't want to. Maybe I've done it sometimes in the past, but the more I actually get older, and hopefully the fact that I have no previous reason to try to pull that thing off, regardless of who you are, the first time I'm talking to you in person or over the phone, I'm just not able to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I have my times too where, you know, I show my finger, you know, fucking, you know, talk shit to people, but for the most part, I'm just not able to do that. Like, literally, like, I'm just not able. Like, I feel so uncomfortable doing that because I think it's not right. And, you know, most part I can do it, you know, even just something that I could get it off my chest by talking shit to somebody and, you know, cuss somebody out or show my finger, call people names. When it's really something that's bothering me, you know. I'm saying as long as there's room for reason in my head. Sorry. Yeah, I'm one of those miserable people. Ooh, babu! Okay. So how do you say this thing? Oh my god, it's so hard to say this. Gosh, I know I killed you guys. It's been talking 43 minutes for something that maybe I could really say it in 5 minutes. I know, you're right. You know, I'm not gonna be able to say that, man. She talks so deep shit to me. So I either have to get it started, and if I get started I have to go through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Or by the way, I give you one more piece of clue here. I punched in the phone number for this woman who called me, and the phone, aside from a couple of reports that I got, there were negative report on this phone number. One website pulled up by the name of Loan at Last, and it was said to be in somewhere in Wisconsin. Some kind of an Indian named, or kind of a Asian name, something like that. I don't know, native Indian, basically. That's another word for it. Can you believe it, man? You know, now I kind of understand why some women kind of like, you know, like, you do some grand shit to somebody, they don't even want to, as shitty as it is, it's so bad, they don't want to even open their mouth talking about it. So the grander kind of a offense you do towards somebody, like there's a minimal chance that they would actually tell on you, or they would actually try to, you know, furnish information that could lead to your, you know, being brought to justice in some ways. How cool is that, you know? You know what? I'm gonna tell you what happened. It's not gonna make me feel good, but I'll have to say it. It's just not any other choice. Alright, so she said her name is Sarah. And so she said, so I started telling her about this, and I said, listen, you know, and I was being very, maybe I shouldn't be, matter of fact. This is the point I'm trying to make. And I said, Miss, you know, how you say this, you know, I'm trying to resolve this thing, and I already talked to one of your colleagues. I swear my mother, these are the words that I use. It said, the gentleman, I called in a few days ago, I talked to one gentleman, he was your colleague, and I regret it so bad talking like that to her, man. Fucking shit, man, these people drive fucking, fuck your head, man, they drive it, son of a Gutenberg, daughter of a Gutenberg. I said I spoke to your colleague, and he said that maybe, I think the original amount was $1,150. Anyways, I said, you know, I want to pay $700 and settle this and get over it with. And she started saying that, you know, the original amount with all the fees added to it is actually $1,500, but you could pay $1,150 and settle it. And then she said if you don't pay it, it will go to court. The attorney fees and all that would be added there, and the $1,500, you're looking more like I think she said it $2,100 or $2,500. And at that point I said, okay, well, you know, this is $700, you know, I want to pay. And so I don't know, is it for your company, is it better to do it that way? Because this is something I have and I want to pay it now. You know, and I feel I have some responsibility, the fact that I have this money to pay for this, because I borrowed this money and I want to pay for it. But I want to pay an amount that is just and right in my mind and makes sense that I have to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? You can come up with all your rules that you want. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, she initially, this is how it started. She said, well, do you mind if I say to you something, sir? I said, yeah, of course, ma'am, go ahead. And she started telling me, I knew where she's going with this. She said basically she was going to tell me about the fact that, yeah, that's the thing that, and this is why I interrupted her. And I said, ma'am, because initially I tried to give a hint of, I know what you want to tell me, if there's any comments you want to give me, which is stupid anyways. I mean, yeah, it's a children game, you know, playing this fucking game of legality over terms of the contract, shit like that. Dude, you want your money or you want to tell me some bullshit, you know? I mean, which one would you rather? $700 cash, really? Or, you know, if you would be willing to work it out, you know, this is how we work. You know, if she was a decent person and she wasn't the word bitch is not appropriate for her, and she was willing to work this out in a positive way, there were chances that, you know, at some point, you know, we were having a conversation, a 10-minute, 15, 20, even 20-minute or a half-hour conversation, you know, that's not a bad deal, right? You get to collect somebody, you know, $700, you know, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Even if that went on such a long, lengthy thing, being even, which I don't think, you know, we were on the phone for like 5 to 7 minutes, literally. I'm saying even if we were to go on for 10, 15, if she was actually playing it nice and decent, I would be willing actually to go up and say, you know what, okay, I got the money in my account, and she being a really, she's actually, wow, phenomenally, unlike many other people that I've dealt with, she's being so nice about it. I would have been willing to think about it a little bit, or regardless, I would be like, you know what, okay, I'll pay $800, but you know what, actually, I'll pay $900. I would be willing to even go as far as that. You know what I'm saying? But she messed up the whole thing, really. She didn't just mess up the whole thing and not being able to collect anything right now whatsoever. That son of a Gutenberg, the dude I've talked to, he was smart and intelligent enough to even go as far as saying that, okay, well, you know what, yeah, so really to settle this, the whole thing is $1,150, but he was very he was being a motherfucker, but he was being nice in being motherfucker. He said, so yeah, but you could pay $700 now, at least put down part of this payment, and you know, it would be something positive for us. And I couldn't understand, and at some point I said, okay, well, if I'm going to pay anything, you know, I'd rather to have a conversation, and hopefully that person's a bit mature and shrewd, and you know, got some sense of shrewdness, and would be willing to work something out with me. You know what I'm saying? And she said, well, you know, may I tell you something? Could I tell you something? I said, sure, ma'am, go ahead. Oh, this is please, I'm sorry, this is very important, because I want you to know exactly what was said. I want to be right here. I know I might sound like real grandma, but I want to be right here. So I started saying that, you know, regardless of the terms or whatever it was, and I said these words with my mouth, I'm not just saying something. I said to her, I said, ma'am, you know, this, miss, regardless of whatever the terms was, you know, I borrowed this money, and I have this money, and I want to pay this back. I paid $450, and I want to pay another $700, which really altogether brings it up to freakishly 700 and, how do you say that? 700 and 450. Don't laugh at me, bitches. Motherfuckers. Don't laugh at bitches. Motherfuckers. So 450 and 700, what is that? That's almost like I have so much stress in my head I can't think, man. It's not that I'm stupid. Sometimes, maybe, but not always. So that's technically what she said. 1,150 altogether. 700 that I was willing to pay plus the 450 I had already paid actually would bring it to exactly the amount that they were saying that they want to settle it for. So how the freakish F do you say this shit right now? So I said, yeah, regardless of terms, and I was referring to that terms like, because I knew exactly what she wants to say. I mean, if I didn't know that she's going to say it for a fact, but I thought if she's going to say, make something like that, I want to address that prior to anything whatsoever. So, you know, hopefully that will give her a sense that if she wants to approach the matter, indeed, she has to engage in some other venues other than just trying to come up with the legality of the contract. And she said, yeah, so can I tell you something? I said, yeah, go ahead. And she started going like, well, Sarah, you signed a contract. Is that right? Uh-huh. Okay, tell me something I didn't know. Yes, I know I did sign that contract. Yes. And at that point, that's the point. Yes, I did interrupt her in a very calm, soft way, actually. Nothing serious or anything. I know there's a bunch of bitches being abused. But, yes, speaking of a mental problem, when you actually interrupt them, you know what it reminds them? The fact that she was actually talking back to her daddy or husband was beating her up very likely, and at that point they actually punched her in the face maybe, or broke her teeth. So I think the fact that very likely when I did interrupt her in a soft way, that's what really kicked her in her brain, and she went off that crazy. So she started going nuts, literally. Oh my god. And I've seen lots of nutsness, man, but I never thought, you know, somebody who's actually working in a company, they would grant themselves such a evil thing. I swear my mother, you want to believe it or not, I can't believe it myself. So I'm not sure how much I can argue for you guys if you don't want to believe, but this is really what happened. And I feel like a pussy right now saying this because I just hung up on her. I didn't say anything back to her. You know, no, because sometimes you do have to yell back at people, at least to make them realize, you know, if you do that shit again to somebody, that's the least thing you're gonna get. They're gonna yell and talk shit back to you. So, your choice. Really, you want to go to that venue? Be prepared for that too as well. But I didn't say nothing, and I feel so shitty about this because I hate arguing with people, you know. And I was not interested to being yelled at or being talk shit anymore. You know, when I really think about it, I should have really said something, or at least called back and started going crazy, just like her. But I truly feel like a pussy saying this. Can you believe it? I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but... And if you ladies are listening to this, I really want to say this. Listen, I truly believe men and women are equal. No, honestly, actually, if you consider me, I admire women for everything they have. I think actually women are the fact that they're emotionally higher than men, and I actually do believe that they're more intelligent than men, given the opportunity at least, and they're actually able to process information better than men. I actually admire women for their softness, for their beautiful soul, for their sensitivity. Obviously that doesn't have to stand with all female, but this is my personal thing. So nonetheless, if nothing else, we are equal. That is for a fact. But listen, this is one thing serious, man. You guys have a responsibility here too, in case you don't know it. Whenever, it doesn't matter, it's not about a man and woman you're interacting with, but if you're talking to a man, at least just like the way you expect them or anybody to be decent and be respectful and so forth, do your part and be nice to them too, for no reason, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna pull that whole thing on you that, oh my god, you're working, you're on a job, you know, you're being recorded online, or this is we're dealing with a customer, and you know how typical stereotype in America is, where because you're on the clock, basically you have to, you know, literally be like a pussy, being a guy or a woman. Excuse me, that doesn't stand with everybody. I feel like a lot of times in some business in America, you know, they act like, yeah, you know, you have to be happy that they're actually giving you some food and they're not going to beat you up. No, seriously, that's the kind of a behavior you get from some people. And I personally just let it go because I feel like I don't want somebody to lose their job. And so long they're not being a total jerk towards me, I'll just let it go. And I mean, literally, just let it go. It's not that I'm just going to even make a comment or leave some kind of review on Google or some shit or anything whatsoever. I just pass by and say, Arash, you know, let it go. So, you know, men have some pride for themselves. Everybody has a pride. It's not specific to, I'm sure nobody wants to be treated and being basically put down or degraded and berated. I don't want anybody, but I'm speaking for myself as an individual and as a guy. Men have certain ego and a pride for them. And one thing you don't want to do, regardless of whether that would mean some reaction from them or anything, you are breaking that ego and that power, that pride that they have, and that sense of value that they have for themselves. And that means you're doing a massive damage to them, and you're breaking that sense of thing that they have for themselves. This is a big thing. You don't want to do that, because it's definitely by no means never means anything positive. And I don't think even a man has to do that to a man, but I can tell you for a fact, and you might, I can see where you might find this weird, because you might be like, dude, she was not a police officer, she was not even a security, she was not anybody to a position that want to arrest you, or anybody by any means to, you know, having that physical power to try to intimidate you. I understand that, what you want to say, or authority, whatever. I understand what you're coming from. But to me, to begin with, to use that venue and go down that road and try to, you know, scold me and talk down to me like that, that is just like as if something like that, just that is equivalent, or, you know, yeah, that is as bad as that, as horrific as that. I don't know how many people watch this, and being a man or a woman, you would understand how much I'm really relating to here, but this is how I feel. And really, all said and done, aside from everything that I said, is really just one thing, because I never allow myself to cross that boundary and do that kind of thing. If you believe it or not, for the most part, I try not to cross that boundary and do that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I rather being talked shit to and berated than wanting to do that exact thing that she did to her or somebody else. This is the part that really hurts. So I would be a victim no matter what. So please don't do that to nobody. It's just so wrong. So yeah, she went nuts. She said, "Don't you interrupt me, sir. If you interrupt me one more time, you're being so rude." And I have this piece of thing that I say, and I think some people perhaps might have heard of it. But obviously, if you don't know what that means, you should not be so quick to negatively judge it. I use this word habibi, which is an Arabic word. I'm Persian. A lot of Iranians get mad at me for utilizing any kind of a word Arabic, but they love Muhammad and Islam. No Arabic, but they love Quran, which is in Arabic. This is an interesting phenomenon with the Iranians. But I love this one word. I do. I find it very interesting. It's a beautiful. This one word I really. You know what happened? Every time I say police car, man, I get scared. I get really scared. So, yeah, because they've done shit to me, that's why. Oh God, and all these laws with trespassing and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Stupid thing. And you might find it that it was just rather something of a, but no, if they want to fuck with somebody, they actually start speaking of psychology, they try to act so, you know, serious about it and go nuts about it. What are you doing here? What you doing? What you being? People called on you. Suspicion. They said you were doing this, you were doing that. What did I do? I don't know. I'm here to find out. You know? That's what they tell you. In case you guys never had that kind of experience. Yeah. My life is so beautiful. I get to enjoy a lot of glorious things about America. So yeah, she's not the only one. There's so many of these people all around. So, yeah, she said, "Don't interrupt me. Don't be, why you're so, no, she didn't say you're so, she said, and don't keep habibi me. If you habibi me one more time, and you be rude to me, and you interrupt me, I'm gonna hang up, I'm gonna go and file this in the court, and I'm gonna get you to serve." I think she meant she's gonna serve means me going to jail. That's what she said to me. All these things I said, I'm quoting her. When I say I mean she said this, okay? I didn't say none of these things. I didn't say none of these things. She said, yeah, she's gonna make me go serve. She's gonna do this, and at that point, and she said, "Do you understand me, sir?" Yes, she was talking. She said like that. That's why I feel such a pussy. At that point I said, no, actually I don't understand. She said, yeah, I don't care who you are. Who you are. I don't think who you think you are. Who you might be, whatever. I'm gonna go, she said she's gonna go do this. Do you you know, she said, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, she's gonna get me to serve, you know, stuff like, at that point I just hang up. I just couldn't keep up with her, you know. This is really all set. So at that point, I hate to say it, I got off the phone. It took me a bit to recover, and at some point I actually cried. It's not the first time I cried. I cried many times. That's one of the things that you can do when you can't really fight anybody back. And you know the funny thing is, if I actually go now, and I know this, if nothing else, I know how the American legal system works. Trust me, if I actually call a lawyer and tell them about this incident, you know what they're gonna say? Say, oh yeah, this could happen. Yeah, they can get you to go to jail. Yeah, they could do this. But yeah, if you give me money, I could, you know, override that, I can avoid that. Yeah, give me this much money, I'll go to that lady, or I would go to the court, and I would, you know, make sure that, yeah, I would get to this settle, and you don't have to worry anything. They see that people in the legal business, they actually deal with these kind of things. Legal people don't back each other down. Now you have the thing, you can go to spend your next about 3 months trying to read a lot of legal documents or legal courses, or matter of fact, find some law students if you know anybody or anything. Basically, some people that might actually be willing for some, you know, reason still. They have that kind of you know, feel so divine, you know, this, like, you know how the stereotype they make about doctors and, you know, lawyers, they feel like, you know, these are civil servants who are there for society to protect your rights and stuff like that. But really it's none of those. That's really just to make sure any venues is utilized to suck the money out of you. That's what it is. So how the F do you say this thing? Yeah, I know this. I'm not just making it because I've had so many times people done shit to me, and a few times I reached out, I was assaulted by the police for no reason. What, they handcuffed me, they put handcuffs on me, and they assaulted me. You think about it, why would you be needing to assault somebody when they have handcuffs on them? And you have guns on you, 2 of you, 3 of you. Matter of fact, I hate to say this, I was actually inside a police station. And you think about it, I mean, why would somebody try to do anything that would lead to that set? I didn't do anything. I was just talking to them. And I was talking... I reached out to for a few attorneys, the ones who actually hear their voice on the internet. Excuse me, in the radio, or, you know, on the, you know, the billboards ads. You know, like this one is specific. What do you call this? Farah and Farah. You know, one thing, like I was living in Jacksonville, I saw a lot of ads for it. And, oh, this motherfucker, what is his name? Shit, I can't remember his name. Seems like I can't remember his name. What is this guy? It was one guy, one thing I do know, at the end of these ads, it says offices, Miami, Broward, something like that. Oh my god, I can't remember. This one dude, you know. Oh, shit. So I said this one of them, Farah, this one of the, Morgan and Morgan. Yes! Morgan and Morgan, yes. This one guy, yeah, one. I called them, I explained to them specifically, and these people have a variety of various, many branches and jurisdictions throughout the entire America. And I called a few firms, and all of them, they said, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do this. I'm sorry, I just spoke to you. intake coordinator, and they said, yeah, they can do your case, you know. Yeah, but you can call other law firms, yeah. They might be able to take your case, you know. And I'm sorry for what happened to you, okay? Oh, thank you so much. Okay, you take care, okay? Okay, yeah, you too. You take care too. Dirty bitch. Bitch. So this is it, man. I'm gonna leave you alone now on, and I'm gonna go my psycho shit. Excuse me. Shouldn't have said that last word. Have a good day. I try to smile. That means everything.